morning, everyone. After an amazing start to the day with Bob Chapman, it's time for our next keynote on the topic of leading the employee experience holistically in a hybrid world. For organizations to maintain their competitive advantage, their people need to be performing to the best of their abilities. But in a world of increasing stress and pressure, of rapid technological change and digital overload, supporting and developing employees has never been more difficult. To develop top-performing employees, HR professionals need to move beyond ad hoc engagement initiatives and instead to design and embed employee experience throughout an organization's processes and culture. In this session, Global Employee Experience expert Ben Whitter will join us to share how you can design the employee experience holistically in a hybrid world. Ben Whitter is the founder of the World Employee Experience Institute. He is recognized as one of the world's leading management thinkers and leading authority on employee experience globally. He is the best-selling author for Human Experience at Work and many more bestsellers on EX. Ben has pioneered and popularized the concept of EX worldwide. So before I invite Ben on the screen, I would like to request our audience to keep sharing your reflections and learnings from the session on social media using the hashtag #ETEXAPAC. So without any further delay, let me pass on the frame to Ben. Over to you, Ben.
Great, thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you, talking about this fantastic topic that we have opportunities and challenges galore to think about. So hopefully I'll give you a few things to take away back to your organizations to really get the employee experience moving in a great way. And I suppose where we start with employee experience is very much the human experience. We've all endured the pandemic for several years now. And I've got to say, it's changed us. You know, we're different people because of it. And we need to respond as different organizations as well. So we're going to be talking a lot about co-creation and co-creating the hybrid work and how we link that through the employee experience, the human experience, in the way that we design our organizations to be fit for now and in the future. And I'll give you a few examples along the way as well. Just a little bit of background about me and HEX Organisation. We have been operating for several years now, and we started delivering digital services, consulting, coaching, and speaking services from 2019. So we actually went digital before the pandemic. And I've got to say, it's a different ballgame. You have to think about so many different things than you would if you were kind of meeting colleagues and clients in person. So we've had to go through a transformation as well in the way that we work with brands. Thankfully, we've been very successful through the pandemic. And we've supported many organizations to improve their employee experiences around the world and got great recognition for it. Some of our clients are diverse and huge clients, large organizations, multinational corporations, right down to medium-sized businesses as well, and not-for-profit public sector businesses, organizations too. We tend to position ourselves to promote and progress the employee experience field worldwide, wherever our clients come from. So that's a little bit about me and us. I've been in the field for a very long time, promoting employee experience and developing the field all around the world. From Asia, I was 3 years based in China. I've been based in Germany, Australia, France, and Japan as well. So I know what it takes to lead employee experience in different organizations and different cultures and contexts. But if you find you have questions through this, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or through hexorganisation.com, and we'll get you some answers to those questions. So first up, I mean, you've probably felt it yourself, but we have gone through a period of profound change in the economy, in the way that businesses work, in the way that we experience our own individual lives as well. And I think it's become very, very clear that, you know, people want change. They want change in the way that they live their lives, and they want change in the way that they work for organizations around the world. The unique thing about the pandemic and this kind of accelerated outcome, which is the hybrid world of work, is that we've all experienced this in one way or another. We've all been affected by the challenges that COVID has brought to us in shaping our lives. And we're saying very clearly now, as one big kind of global voice, we want change in the world of work, and we demand it. And we'll force it through if we have to. We've seen many examples of that happening with a rise in employee activism and people being more vocal about the quality of their employee experience. So things have changed, expectations have changed, and organizations will need to change with them. Otherwise, the organizations of today will not be around for very long tomorrow. I love that little guy. He's great, isn't he? So the pigeon has flown off, but for me personally, I mean, I've bought a forest. So my organization purchased a forest in beautiful Snowdonia in Wales, because we realized we wanted a place where we could bring people together safely to develop, to grow, to nurture that connection we have with the planet and society and communities. So that's one way that we kind of articulated that in the world. We bought quite a big forest, and we've been planting trees and doing things that create a good connection between ourselves and the planet and the environment. And that's really been a great thing that we've done within this different world of work. But again, what have you changed? What have you changed about your experience? What are you doing differently? For me, it started with hiking in the mountains, getting into nature and immersing myself into it. And, businesses are doing the same thing, creating different types of spaces for people to rediscover themselves in this new context that we're living in and this new time. So this is an organizational issue, but it's also an individual issue, because we as people are at the center of our organizations, no matter what. The hybrid workplace is still a human workplace. That's the bottom line. We still need to remember that organizations are really all about human beings. From the research for my second book, Human Experience at Work, I looked at organizations all around the world, and we figured out a recipe for progressing the new business. I wrote the book and researched for it during the pandemic, and what we found was progress is very different now. Business progress is very different. It's about people, planet, and performance. And if we're not moving our companies forward in that way when we're building our hybrid organizations, it's not going to be a good outcome. So progress, business progress in particular, is completely aligned with human progress. I think we knew that for a long time. We know when we're delivering our best performance, it's usually because we're surrounded by people that bring out the best of us and organizations that bring out the best of us as well. And that connection is stronger than ever. Or if you're in some organizations, it's as weak as possible because we're not doing certain things within the design of that organization, which I'll share with you now. So from the research, we found that, again, leading with purpose has become even more important than before the pandemic. So it's one thing to say we are this and this is our purpose in the world. It's an entirely different thing to live it within the employee experience on a consistent basis. So again, leading with purpose is that kind of challenge that we all need to rise to within the design of our hybrid workplace. Making sure that people feel connected to that purpose and that they know they're on a true and genuine mission to make a difference in the world, as opposed to, just serving people to deliver a profit. Profit is great if it's delivering great outcomes for people in society and solving real problems. So we need to feel connected to this mission, and we need to feel somewhat unified around it. Building that hybrid organization has led to a level of obsession about humanity that we've never seen before in business. The 9-to-5 work routine, the way that we traditionally set up our organizations, has been declared not fit for purpose in this current climate. So this obsession with humans is taking us into experimental types of organizations. Sometimes we're working from anywhere, sometimes we're working in the office, sometimes we're working in a way that suits us. And again, that will continue as we see the outcomes of these different models. So this obsession with humanity will be a great thing. And it's served organizations very well through the pandemic. Those closest to human beings and developing great employee experiences, great human experiences, are the ones that we're talking about now. The ones that are living long in the memory and delivering great business results alongside that. Coincidentally, these organizations were already pretty much prepared for what was coming. Any crisis, any issue, any challenge, they were more ready, or they were in a higher state of readiness than most organizations because they were already human-centered. So again, a key aspect of the future is going to be how much more human-centered can we get? Because that's going to be very, very important in the success of these new hybrid models. Are we working on the right things? Are we solving the right problems? Are employees aligned to the truth of our organization, our organizational purpose, our mission, and our values? You know, experience and design has just exploded through the pandemic. I'm sure you've been reading about it. I'm sure you've been kind of prototyping and developing your own ideas on this. So again, it's focusing on, you know, instead of policies, practices, procedures, and more bureaucracy, it's how can we deliver positive experiences that help us grow our business, but also help us grow the human beings within the context of our business. When you're getting those two things right, well, you know, the sky is the limit with this. And then finally, as we've seen through any challenge you want to mention in the economy, the brands that we remember, the brands that we respect, the brands that we admire are the ones that are uncompromising around their values. So they stand true to their values and honor them through the great times and through the bad times. And those companies are doing a great service to the world, I would say. Is your company one of them? That's a challenging question. And hopefully we can start to answer yes to it. You know, I remember at the start of the pandemic, Airbnb, obviously in the travel and tourism business, they suffered a massive blow to their global business. And they had to make 25% of their workforce redundant. You know, in one swoop, they had to get rid of a quarter of the workforce globally. And I was watching very carefully how they did that. And I have to say, they came through that experience with a stronger reputation, with more admiration, more respect, and actually, you know, more long-term potential for business success than ever. And they were making 25% redundant. So it's like, how did they do this? Well, they designed experiences that resonated and supported human beings. They genuinely cared for the people that were leaving the organization, and they were set to create a relationship for life. Not all businesses view organizational life in that way. You know, when people leave, they leave. Bye-bye. End of contract. See you later. Brands like this, they take it seriously. They build alumni communities. They keep a connection to their people, and they create more brand advocates, which is very powerful in terms of, you know, brand advocacy leads to business profitability, repeat customers, and great overall business success. So they got it very, very quickly within the business model that human beings are everything if they're going to be successful. So again, just one example of how human experience, employee experience businesses do things a little bit differently. So there's a process to get to this. You don't just magic up an outcome like that, where you have more fans than detractors, where you have more supporters than people who talk bad about your business. It's a process, and we have to do all the traditional things within the design process, but there are a few things that make that all-important difference that we've seen from the research. And that's the ability to set an intention to disrupt your business model, to do things completely differently, and to change things that are frustrating or causing pain to your employees. We found if you go after those things that matter to employees first, then everything else flows from there. The respect, the admiration, the positive relationships, the well-being, all of those great outcomes that we seek come from a positive intention around disrupting what you're doing as an organization or as a HR team. It could be a policy that doesn't work for people. It could be a procedure that is inhuman in the way that it's applied. It could be all manner of different things. It could be an onboarding process that just isn't welcoming enough. It could be an exit process that is not fit for purpose. So we have to set our intent to disrupt the business model. It's fantastic. You know, it's fantastic to go after these targets with that intent to disrupt and change them, to make them something more powerful. And I encourage you to go and co-create with your people in that spirit. The second thing I'll draw out of this brief process, there's lots of stuff that sits behind this. But the other thing is divergence. We have to be something different in the world. We can't be a generic vanilla brand. We have to be our unique selves. We have to, live in our context, live in our culture, and live with our people in our company. So that means we need to diverge from the norm and do something that goes against the expectations, maybe. Maybe it's something that is completely different to what's being done in our sector. This divergence is really powerful, and it creates these moments that matter, which are consuming. They create real engagement outcomes and a satisfaction level with the employer that is beyond reproach. So again, two little things I want to draw out of this process. You can access the full process by contacting us, or you can access it by reading my second book, and I give case examples around that. But I just wanted to flag it because design thinking is wonderful for products and services. But when you're applying design thinking with employees, there are certain steps you need to take that are very different within the employee experience world, which lead to stronger outcomes for everyone. But what have we learned as organizations through all of this talk about hybrid work? One of our clients last year was Microsoft, and I started looking at what they were doing around the hybrid work design and what was underpinning the model for hybrid work. And they've been one of the leaders within this shift that we've seen around hybrid work design. So I wanted to bring 5 truths that they've found from their real-time research on this and see if they resonate with you and your organization. And maybe you can even assess yourself based on these truths after this session. And I suppose the first one is people are more than their jobs. We've realized that in a profound way across corporate organizations that, people want to live. They want to experience life. They want to have a great human experience. So we need to design the way that they work in a different way. And we need to see people beyond the 9 to 5. How are you supporting people to become their best selves beyond work? It's a big, big question. The other thing is, for me, the workplace has never been a building. I shared this in 2019 through employee experience. I said then, and I reinforce now, it's never a building. It's the spaces and places that enable our best work. For Microsoft, the research says work happens anywhere, and we need to support that rather than oppose it, which some companies are doing right now. I know the best time to work for me when I'm going to be really productive. I also know when I want to relax and be a little bit lazy. So I'm probably one of the best co-creators to design the experience that is going to enable me to perform to my fullest potential. Employees know that too. So let's go and work with them and co-create and co-produce that hybrid experience with them. The third thing is people know what is best for them. Again, I just mentioned that. But then moving on to the fourth point, learning is working and working is learning. So again, we're constantly having experiences that tell us something about the organizations we work for. So, we're learning every day. We're learning about the people around us, our teams, our managers. We're learning what makes us successful, what makes us unique. We're learning more about our truth, our purpose, our mission, our values, how it resonates, how it doesn't resonate, how it's powerful, how it's weak. That gives us the ability to change things, about the way that we grow and develop ourselves, our teams, but also the organization as well. This is an incremental approach, I would say, an everyday approach to learning, which is great, as opposed to, abstract learning concepts that don't really apply and we don't really get to use within our jobs. So again, a great learning revolution has taken place, and it's probably not got the headlines it deserves. We are learning completely different things about ourselves and our businesses now. And then the final thing that came up from the research from Microsoft was that work is always evolving. Expectations are always changing. Society is always in a mode of readiness for change, and we need to embrace that. You may deliver a project that is really good. You may develop a program that works. You may develop a solution that works today. It might not work tomorrow. So we need to evolve this mindset within ourselves to say that the employee experience and hybrid work is about evolution rather than revolution. If the revolution comes, it's too late. So I think co-creation, co-production is going to be absolutely critical within the way that we design the hybrid work structure and the daily practices and experiences. I want to leave you with a final quote, which really inspires me every day as we delve into the hybrid world of work and the employee experience in this context and this era. And, you know, it's a very powerful quote about the privilege we have to serve our companies and build and design great experiences that really create a strong connection for life with people. That goes beyond rudimentary, perfunctory HR work or business work. This is profound, life-changing stuff. But the great thing is we're all pioneers here. We are only just starting to understand and grasp the opportunity we have. And I think it bodes well for the future, because the more human-centered we become, the more experience-driven, and the more holistic we think about the entire organizational structure and the way we connect with our people, the more powerful and stronger our organizations are going to become. That's it for me. It's been great to attend your conference and share some of these insights from our research. You can connect with me again at hexorganisation.com. But in the meantime, my last thing is my personal mantra: enjoy the experience.
Thank you so much, Ben, for such an amazing session. You rightly said that people are more than their jobs. And if you care for your people, then they will take care of your business and customers. Thank you for helping our audience with the tips for designing holistic EX for a hybrid world of work. And now we will break for a short networking break. I would request our audience to use the opportunity to interact with your peers by visiting the networking lounge. And join us back here for the Maker panel on designing a wow candidate experience. See you on the other side. Thank you.